Welcome to the simpliHOM podcast, where we educate, inspire, and entertain real estate entrepreneurs seeking a casual and practical podcast. We're here to simplify your life and business.
You can find growth anywhere. And as long as you have an open mind and take those opportunities to learn, then you're going to grow from it.
The easiest thing too is just always being in your zone of genius. What you are passionate about and are good at.
The mindset shift is drastic when you're thinking of I am this person as opposed to I want to become or one day I will be is huge.
I feel like a lot of real estate companies have been putting a focus on themselves, basically. Recently, we've been putting it on the agents, and that's when our socials have been doing the best. It's become really personal, and we've gotten a lot more traction.
Off the phone.
All right. Hey, friends. Welcome back to the podcast, the simpliHOM podcast. I am Sarah Wiley Armstrong, or as people like to call me, Swy. I'm joined here by Brett Rakowski, our COO.
Switching it up.
I'm usually last.
I know.
I got the first.
I know.
Let's go.
Kyle Mann, video connoisseur, and Sean MyQ, our CEO.
I am present.
That's okay. And then we have Grant Brotan
Physically.
on the ones and twos.
Brotan.
All right.
Say what's up. Hey.
He just gives us a good hey every time.
We need the Grant camera.
The best hay.
We're just going to be continuing our 22 rules for 2022 this episode. If you didn't listen to part one, you should skedaddle back over to that and listen to part one. But if you already have, then welcome back. We'll get rolling. But first, I wanted to start us off with something we're proud of this year, just to kind of get our minds right and getting ready for this podcast episode. So I would love to hear just something so far into 2022. We're only, maybe 2 months in. I'd love to hear what you are proud of.
Oh.
Can I go first?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Can I go first? This sounds super cheesy.
Oh, you said you're ready, so you're really ready.
He is.
Oh, no, not on this. I actually
boy.
forgot about this part. So, I am super proud of my kids because they're still young. They got a 3 and a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
But my 5-year-old is like, we sat at the breakfast table this morning and he was doing his homework, which he's in pre-K.
At least somebody does their homework.
Yeah. So we were like he's learning to read, and I don't know, we were like looking at a word. I was like, all right, let's sound it out. And he was like, what? I was like, what's this letter? And he's like, B. I was like, what sound does a B make? Buh. And so we were spelling brown, but he like did it, and he was like reading all these words. I'm like, man, like, dude, you're learning how to read. You know how like amazing that is? And he was super pumped, and like, I don't know, man, just like seeing him learn and grow has been super cool. And then my daughter, who was standing right next to it, she couldn't be, upstaged at all. So she was like, my name is Lennon. And I was like, yeah, you can spell your name. Like, that was a really cool moment. So
awesome.
I'm like super proud of my kids at this moment, always, but especially at this moment. So
That's
that was
so
really cool.
cute. I love it.
I'm proud of my kid who slept on the dog bed yesterday for the first time ever.
Yeah.
By herself. No. Seriously,
Big dog
though.
dad over here.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to be a little selfish. So I had we talked about in a previous, I'm not big on like New Year's resolutions, but I set a vision for myself of having abs by the end of 2022.
Nice.
And it's February something, and I'm halfway there.
Yeah.
I can start to see them, and I'm like, my wife said the other day, that's just your upper rib. And then I
That
was
is
like, no.
totally something your wife would say.
Yeah.
But she was serious, and I said, no, come here. And I contracted it and relaxed it. I'm like, that is not a rib. That is my damn ab.
And also, I'm pretty proud of you. You've stuck with 75 hard so far. Not that I doubted you, but I'm just saying you're already
You're
more than halfway
further
in.
along than anybody in this office.
Paige and I are
Yeah,
both
you and
at 30.
Paige is-
Oh,
30.
that's right. Paige is same.
I walk in every day. You didn't cheat on me, did you?
Gotta make sure.
Yep.
What are you proud of?
What am I proud of? I'm doing a lot of just adult things right now, and I'm just excited. Not that I haven't been adulting, but it's just exciting. In the last, 40 days, we got pre-approved, we got a puppy, we were getting a house, and that's just a lot of things.
You leveled
And
up.
I ate really well in the month of January up until the Super Bowl, and I didn't even eat that bad, but just ate a lot of whole foods. I had that competition, and so if I was gonna do a competition, I was gonna take it seriously, and I was gonna do it right, and I didn't want to let my partner down because it was partner competition, and I stuck with it, and I was really proud of that. And then we won. I was proud of that. So it's just been. It feels like the last 6 weeks have just been awesome. They felt good. That could mean something's coming. It's a little too calm, if you know what I'm saying. But
Calm before the storm.
so I just have a lot to be proud of right now. Miller passed his boards, which was so awesome.
Go Miller.
So when we found that
Sugar
out, that
daddy.
was big.
I mean,
I
she's
am
been
excited.
the sugar mama for a long time.
I have been.
let's flip the
my
roles.
biggest flex is we've paid for your school. I bought you a car, and now I've bought you a house.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
best sugar mama you've ever had. Only sugar mama I guess he's ever had. But yeah, I'm so excited for those paychecks to start coming along from him. So that is really exciting, but nothing
Nice.
too crazy in my world.
Nothing too crazy. Just a whole,
everything.
a whole everything.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see how we went from a conversation when you were sitting right there where Kyle is talking about not even knowing what to do to become a homeowner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally in less than 2 months. Here we
Yeah, it
go.
was like
Yeah,
6 weeks ago.
I'm
just shows
someone
how
that just
easy it
goes
is.
all in. That's what I've been telling people.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said, look, they'll let anyone buy a house.
If you got the credit, you can.
Well-
Credit and income. That's all you need.
Don't even listen to that because I've only got 6 months of credit.
Oh, there are ways around that.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm just saying, I'm just a little baby credit history.
You got a credit score, though. That's all they look at.
And it's just wild.
Yeah.
But I said that. My mom's like, you've been working so hard the last blah, 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 blah. I'm like, Mom, I know I've been working hard. But I just felt like this process has been way too easy.
Yeah.
The first house we looked at is the one we went under contract on. So,
Yeah, and it even came back. They took someone else and then
yes,
came back
so
to
they
you.
actually took a cash buyer. And I just had a feeling. When I walked in the house, I just had a feeling about the house. And I also had a feeling when they took a day or two to think over the two offers. I was just like, I know this cash offer is really low. Really sad, but it's a couple that was getting a divorce. And so this was like Thursday that we found out that they were taking the cash offer after they had thought about it a few days. Saturday morning after we worked out, me and Miller had we were just content. We know something's in store for us, even if it wasn't that. We are at peace with where we're at right now. And literally on the way back from the gym, my dad called and was like, this hasn't happened before, but they contacted me and wanted to know if you still want the house because the husband, the soon-to-be ex-husband, wasn't happy with the offer, thought it was too low, so they rejected it. And that is how we are in this pickle.
Yeah. And you had made an offer on another house,
Oh, no, we didn't.
right?
We didn't make
I
an
thought
offer
you did.
on
you
that.
didn't.
Oh, I thought you
No,
did.
I walked in it and I just immediately wasn't happy. Like the one that we're getting,
It's like at the office today.
the one that we're getting.
Call back.
Yeah, call back to the last episode if you haven't listened yet. Go check it out.
If you want to see us get spanked,
Oh,
Oh,
I just had the visual.
I'm like, I could have used different words for that.
you could have. It's okay.
Phrasing.
Now everyone's going back to the other episode.
right, yeah. Go listen to that one. I got sassy, but I'm in a better mood now that all the boys are.
Yeah. There were one podcast in and we came ready
We're
this
doing
time.
stuff. We're
We
doing
came
this.
ready
Yeah.
this time.
Basically, everyone is ready for this one, and so I'm just.
I'm like
on fire.
doing new notes.
I know.
You cheated.
That's
Off of
did.
mine.
That's
You heard how
okay.
thoughtful ours were.
I know. Well, they don't
Wait till
even
you
have
hear
to
one
be.
of his.
Oh, Sean, we haven't heard yours yet. What are you proud of? We were
Oh,
going to
yeah.
skip
Oh,
right over
I was
you.
hoping you would. I don't know what I'm proud of, honestly. I think I'm proud of. I got COVID, and
You're proud of getting COVID?
Good job.
It's the first person I've ever heard that's proud of getting COVID.
well, it wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't that.
So I got COVID, and I forced myself to just chill, which is something, if you know me, I don't do. And I didn't even work. I mean, it was like 2 weeks where I was just like, nah, well, hope everyone's doing their job.
We
But
got
you're
this
a
under
good
control.
delegator, so call back to the last episode.
I would.
Delegation,
both
we're
of you-
doing that.
Both of you are proud of him on his delegation.
I'm not proud of my delegation.
Hey,
but
No.
He's much better.
No, I will say
He is better than most.
I've been around for almost 3 years. He has gotten a lot better
Yeah.
at it. Like I've
That's
He's gotten a lot
seen
better since I
progress.
started.
Well, I've seen
Yeah.
progress, and so to me, it's
Yeah.
He's also tired of
That's the
hearing me
thing.
that you don't need to do that. You don't need
I'm
to
also
do that.
remarkably impatient.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
that's your issue.
That's where
Yeah.
delegation and I aren't necessarily friends because I can
Yeah.
do it a lot faster. Anyway,
Yep.
so I took a couple of weeks away, and when I came back with like a fresh clarity on my vision, fresh fire for the vision, and for once in like over a year, I came back without brain fog. I've had like a nonstop brain fog. And so for me, like to come back without that, to be just like, let's go to work. I think I'm most proud of how incredibly productive the last 4 weeks has been.
yeah, that's awesome.
So that's, it's not personal or anything. It's just whatever.
That's where we're at, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Just is what
So
it is.
we're just gonna hop right into it. If you missed the last episode and you are just deciding not to go listen, that is okay.
That's your
too.
fault.
You're here. But we're gonna do 22 rules for 2022, and just with this, I got this from another podcast I listened to, and they got it from TikTok. So just this funnel of everyone's doing it, but. Not necessarily resolutions, but maybe habits that you've already put into place for 2022 or you're wanting to improve on now, a couple months into the year. That's okay too. But just rules for ourselves that we are taking into 2022 as of today. So,
What number are we starting on?
yeah, we're going
We
to
did
start on
first
12.
11.
12.
The first
Okay.
11 were in the first episode, so we're going to jump off on 12. We ended on Brett, so we're going to start up with Kyle, and we're going
Yeah.
round robin.
He said he was ready.
He is ready. He's
He's
juiced.
so ready.
We watched David Goggins before the episode started. And I've just been.
He's
It
bouncing.
was
He's
that's
like,
probably one of the
He's
best
ready to
videos
go
I've
to
seen
his
him.
hill and do his push-ups.
Dude, it's
Yep.
gonna be
scream into the
savage.
air.
That you're actually going to raise your fist this time and scream.
So the funny thing is, I'm bringing my entire group that comes for game night every Wednesday night, and I'm
Yes.
bringing them up there with me, and I am
Is that where you're
not
playing
holding
games?
back. Huh?
Is that where you're going to do the game night?
Well, we've done it before.
should. It's
We've
supposed
brought
to.
entire tables and chairs up to the top of that hill before,
Do it.
but not today.
Okay.
Okay, so number 12. So on David Goggins, and kind of what you said earlier when we left off on the podcast last week, it's just the concept of one more step. And you don't know what one more step means until you're ready to quit. And that one more step matters.
yeah.
And I think that for me, kind of what reintroduced that into my life, and I've always been a competitive person with myself. So I need to be better every single day. If I don't feel that I'm getting better every single day, my entire psyche just crashes. Like I'm all out of sync. It leads to depression and anxiety. So I have to be growing every single day in some way.
Yeah.
But also too, you need to set realistic expectations of like, you can only go one step at a time. Now, you can, I think that needs to be paired with a long-term vision,
Yeah.
and you're just making one step towards that long-term vision. But you need to feel the progress of everyday movement. So one more step, just be better than you were 1 minute ago.
I love it.
And that's it came across the workout that we mentioned last podcast. That was when I was like ready to, I was in a lot of pain. Like my heart rate spiked to, it was like 215 or something like that, 209.
You should see a doctor.
Yeah, it was, well, it's also with this. I don't know how
Yeah.
accurate
Yeah.
it is. So,
Yeah.
but I remember like I could feel my heart like just,
I told you yesterday.
Except it was more like,
yeah.
I told you yesterday, you can feel like working out enough and paying attention. I know. I told
Yeah.
you yesterday without even looking. I'm at like 165 beats a minute. It was like 168.
Yeah.
stop drinking caffeine.
So we were working.
Never.
But so it was in that moment and like my legs weren't working, and it's just that like you have to think of one more step. And for me, it's like a person. I found out that in a competitive nature against other people, I'm not fun to compete with. Like I'm not, I get pretty aggressive
Me too.
so for me, like I find it easier to be aggressive with myself. And I know that, you know, that's just how I work. So how do I overcome and defeat the old me? So you have to kill an old part of you in order to be a better person you are tomorrow, or be a
Or
better
you can
person
kill the
tomorrow.
person you're competing against.
Also true, which is why I don't compete with other people.
With all your references of like Gladiator and all this other stuff recently, I'm like, sorry, Grant,
Yeah.
I caught that one. My bad.
All right.
He's writing down the time.
It just flew right out of my mouth.
Number 13.
Number 13.
What are we doing in
Lucky number
2022?
13. I have been extremely focused on mental health because I have not been focused on mental health in the past. And so for me, one of my big things is to travel more on weekends. And so I want to come and I want to be dedicated to my task, to my team, to my vision Monday through Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday, no offense, I don't want to talk to you guys. I just want to like unplug, not think about it, and just live my life, make memories with my
Relatable.
kids, etc. Yeah, right. And so for me, I want to travel more. I think there's so much out there that we all need to see, and you don't have to go far to travel. You can like go on an hour drive and you're in the middle of somewhere new and experiences and whatever. And so I think that's something that will be good for me mentally.
No, I think that's really good. And you've kind of already started that. Y'all have gone on
I
some
have.
road trips.
Yeah, I have. But it's something that I need to continue because it is something that I find like when I get that time away, Saturday, Sunday, I'm back Monday. Like, let's roll.
Yeah, and you'll
I
get
start
that.
missing work by Sunday night.
I found, you ever look back and you're like, wow, time flew for like the past 3 months, 6 months, or whatever period of time. I found that anytime I'm thinking about that and it's all a blur, it's because I did the same thing every single day and I can't tell the difference. So introducing just even, an hour away or whatever it may be, like something to interrupt that time.
Yeah.
You create a memory that breaks up the
The
monotony. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good word.
Yeah.
A little
Jinx.
a little respite, a little weekend respite.
Respite.
All right, Brett.
Number 14.
inside
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
service number 14. Let us
I'm
know
gonna
what we're
serve
doing
it up on a
in
platter. So
2022.
yeah, for me, it's create more me time. Start like the last couple months getting consistent at waking up at 4:30, going to the gym, having time when I get home where it's super quiet, nothing's up. Just being able to, and like that's what we were talking about in the last podcast where I do my reading. If I don't get it in then, it's tough throughout the rest of the day because life gets in the way, right? So having more of that, like being okay, go work out, that's part of me. Go as soon as I get home, it's not straight, oh, let's go home, take a shower, do all those things. Like, no, sit down, read, meditate, reflect. Maybe I want to get into journaling. I know you do that a lot, and it's something that I've started in the past, never became a habit, but I just want to this year just create more me time because I am a natural person that's like you. I want to serve and help more people, but I got to take care of me first.
100%.
Yeah, you can't pour out of an empty cup.
Nope.
Put your mask on before somebody else's.
Yeah.
It won't matter. You'll be passed out anyway.
My turn? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we're back
Your
to-
turn.
Oh,
All
yeah.
eyes on you. We've been listening to Tupac ever
A
since
lot of
the Super
Tupac.
Bowl.
Yeah. And I'm all for it.
Me too.
Take responsibility for your life and future. I've found that when you get comfortable in life, it's because you've passed that responsibility to somebody else. And I think that, at least for me and my personality type, it's hard for me to be dependent on somebody else.
Yeah.
So taking charge of your life, and I think that's true for anybody, like whether it's a certain part of your life or it's your life as a whole, like you need to have that that control over like where you're going and totally lost where I was going.
Oh, first one.
Where see, Grant, we need
Come
Oh,
on,
we need a train crash.
man.
We need a car crash because I just
Oh,
derailed
that sounds
my thought.
terrible.
No, the sound.
I like the
effect.
AOL dial-up.
Well,
I
yes,
like-
that's a brain
yes.
fart, but I didn't like forget. I didn't like just stop.
That's a brain
Okay,
fart.
guys, look, if you are listening to the podcast right now, shoot us a DM on any of our socials and let us know what you think the sound should be. Because
So to preface, it's a brain fart. Anytime somebody has a brain fart, we call them out.
So it should be a whoopee cushion, obviously.
So I said it depends on what type of brain fart? Is it really bad, like derailing your
Is
conversation?
it bad, like Kyle
Or is it
telling a
just like-
story, or is it
Or is it like,
just a lost
dang, I
thought 'cause
forgot what I was going to
talked
say.
for 30 minutes?
Yeah. Brett thinks the best way to combat a brain fart is to
Keep
just
talking.
derail the
Keep talking.
conversation.
Yes.
Just change it.
I'm not going
No,
to be the
I'm not.
first.
I'm not saying you as I'm saying when you call it out. He's like, of course your brain's gonna go in 5 million directions after that. Brett will call you out, and you're just like, I don't even know what I thought I might have been thinking.
Kyle doesn't know what he thought now either.
Yeah, no.
He still has his notes. He'll reference back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's
came
literally
prepared.
that's literally all I wrote though.
But yeah, wrap it back up.
That's why I derailed because I was like, oh wait, I didn't.
So what was it? Just to kind of tap back into it before we head on to Sean.
Take responsibility for your life and your future, and that when you feel comfortable, if you ever feel comfortable in life, and this is not everyone, this is just for me personally, if I start to feel comfortable, it means that I've passed the responsibility of my life and my future, and I've given it to somebody else. So I think when you get comfortable, you can get complacent, and you kind of slack off, and self-improvement becomes less of an importance. And I think that's, we can get into the kind of the cause, the effects of handing somebody something and not having them work for it, but ultimately that's taking responsibility, and I'm big on personal responsibility. So it just follows that principle.
Sweet. I
Sweet.
dig.
Number 16.
So on the last podcast that hopefully you've all listened to at this point,
That
after the
100%
17 call to actions,
Right.
Brett talked about doing things that he's passionate about, and mine is similar to that, but it is basically that.
It's okay.
But it's from a mental health standpoint where, like, for me, ever since I was 14 years old and I started flying airplanes, that was a disconnect for me. It was like an opportunity for me to just like unplug from the world and get above it in a way.
Literally.
Sorry. Couldn't help it. No, but it's just a great way for me to just unplug and just like connect with something that I enjoy. The airport that I fly out of actually was like, hey, we have a horrible softball team. I was like, couldn't be as bad as the one we played on 2 years ago.
Oh, we were bad.
It was terrible.
Were you on that?
Yes.
He filled in a couple times. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I
Yeah.
didn't know. I was there a few times. I went and watched. I was a supporter.
Bad.
Yeah, she supported us through the hard times for sure.
Yes.
But they were like, "Hey, we're starting a softball team," and I was like, "That's something I enjoyed." Like, I like even if you suck and you lose every time, it's fun to just get out there and like feel like a kid again until you throw and your arm feels like it's broken. But I want to do more of those types of things because I've done a lot over the last 6 years of just of just saying, "Hey, I don't have time for this. I'm too busy. I don't have time for myself, whatever." And so I want to change that.
Yeah, and it's crazy you say that. I mean, your passion was flying, or has been since you were 15, and you probably have done more flying in the last couple months than probably ever, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I
it's been
fell
crazy.
in love with flying when I was 8.
Yeah.
And then I finally started flying when I was 14 was the first time I flew an airplane. 15, my 15th birthday was when I started lessons. And yes, I've been flying quite a lot. And it's been fantastic for me, like just mentally, just to be able to do that. And now I'm kind of at a stage where if I don't get to fly for a few weeks, I start getting a little like angsty.
It's like one day.
Oh,
and you're-
Angsty. Yeah, I start
He's
getting
like,
a
man,
little bit, like,
it's like, it's perfect weather. Let's go.
right? Yeah, it's beautiful.
Let's just go get gas.
But I need to do more. I don't know, just more Sean things. I
Yeah.
guess. Ultimately,
I love that.
Oh, back to me.
Oh, yeah, you're back
Dang.
up. Don't you
What number we
forget
at?
it.
you should be
are
on
at
item number
17.
6.
Yes. So for me, it's have tough conversations. You all have heard me. I love having tough conversations, but I'm more committed to it this year than ever in every aspect. I had a tough conversation that we talked about with my wife. Now, could I have handled it differently? Absolutely.
But you had the conversation.
But I had the conversation,
Yeah.
and what didn't go as planned, but that's okay. And
Yeah.
guess what? We didn't sleep in separate beds. We went to bed happy, right? Wasn't happy for.
Well, he had to buy a bottle of wine to get it there.
Yeah,
but
fair enough. So Actually, no. She wanted wine, and then we got to the grocery. I'm done. I don't even want any more wine. I'm like, oh damn.
All right.
So
I really screwed up.
So I got home, gave her a hug, and said sorry, and that was that.
My man.
Yeah, I admitted
Apologies,
that.
they go a long way, don't they?
But it was sincere. Like I didn't mean to upset her.
Yeah.
But it was. That's even just the apology is a tough conversation too.
It is.
Yeah.
Being able to admit, especially me being a Virgo, I don't want to admit I'm wrong ever.
I don't say.
Yeah, I'll fight if I'm passionate about it.
Oh yeah.
I'm finding more of my passions, so you guys better be ready now. But and that's even like something that I'm being tough on myself is learning that like for me it's not always like my way is not always the highway, right, or the best way.
Limp Bizkit.
So having tough conversations because those tough conversations lead to greater things at the end of it. It'll also could bring in opportunity where myself or whoever may have not been happy in a certain situation and you find those things out. Or I don't have to feel like, because I've done this in the past where I'm the natural type of person to just hold on to everything, all my emotions. And then it brings resentment. And I don't want to resent anyone, right?
Yeah.
Like I've
So
done
easy to
that.
sweep it under the rug.
Yep. And I've done that, resented people in the past. And it's hard for me to, when I get to that point, it's hard for me to let go. And I don't want that.
I've been very fortunate in that 3 people are introduced in my life recently within the last 2-3 years that taught me how to be better at that. And that's been you and Derek Trainer. Yeah. Just being more comfortable with having tough conversations and knowing, and also being unemotional in those moments as well, which is very important because that'll lead to irrational that you say things that are irrational or
Perfect. I mean, this is what we all think in our head, like, oh, I don't want to have the conversation because what if it goes this way? And you think about all these things that could
derail you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it never goes that way.
Yeah.
It also never goes the way that you think it'll go in a positive way.
Right.
Yeah.
You know when
There's
like,
somewhere in the dentist.
Yeah.
you know when you're like in the shower and you're like thinking through, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say that.
Yeah.
And then you get there and you're like, hi.
Yeah. And
Or like they're
so-
totally cool and you're like,
yeah.
that's
Okay.
yeah, we're gonna have a normal conversation. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good
so that's
times,
that. Have
good
tough
times.
conversations.
I love it.
Here's my tough conversation. I apologize for not being prepared for the podcast. The last 2 podcasts, I failed. I didn't
okay.
listen to instructions, and I will make a commitment
It's
to do better
okay.
going forward.
Oh.
Let's go.
And I'm really
There we go.
awkward, so I'm just like, cool.
Grant,
You
can
know-
we add strings to that apology? Just,
Just to preface that too, if you haven't watched the last episode, she was upset. She was hot.
And
Came,
see,
she was
and
so upset she forgot to introduce all of us.
not true.
Not even worth
if
it.
you also listened to the last episode, I said these boys are so dramatic when anytime they're talking about a girl's emotions, which makes me
true.
even more triggered.
I'm just curious. So I learned a new thing about Brett today. That Brett can rap every single word of "Ambitions as a Writer" by Tupac, and "All Eyes on Me" and all of them. So I'm just
Every Tupac
curious
song.
if you can fight with the passion that you can rap Tupac. I would not want to fight you.
facts.
The passions.
I mean, the passion was coming out. Like, I was like
Good
typing a word, and I started typing the word he was singing because it was like, "Rah!" It's like, all right, fair enough.
That is so funny.
I'm glad nobody recorded me.
Next time.
That's
It's
what
always
you
next
think.
time.
All right, Kyle, you've got number 18. What are we doing in 2022?
And, oh man, look forward to the words "you've changed."
Say it one more time.
You've changed.
Look forward to the words "you've changed."
Like, you
Now,
have changed.
Obviously, there's a negative connotation to that.
Yes.
So you need to be cognizant of that. But
But is it
in the context,
But is it?
what I mean, it can be because
Okay,
you
fair enough.
could turn into a d bag and
Fair
not
enough.
just
Fair enough.
And like, hey,
You've changed.
you've changed. But if we think about, and I'm gonna throw out a story element here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Get the train.
Hey, listen, at
ready.
least you. Story train. Here we
Oh,
go.
this thought
At
has
least
left
you-
the station.
At least you told us that you're going with the story.
Well, it's not a story. It's,
No, tell your
it's
story.
literary comparison here. But if you look at the hero's journey, the hero's identity literally changes. Like the hero's, if you are not changing, you are not growing. And if you're not growing, you are failing. And that's you think if you leave a house and you don't clean it, it doesn't get better. It doesn't even remain the same. It becomes disgusting. And the same is true with your life. If you do not every day make sure to clean your room or to be better or to change in some way for the better, like you are going to get worse. And that's just when things are left alone, they become worse, not better. So look forward to the times when you can say you've changed, or people are looking and say you've changed, because again, you are the hero, you are the protagonist in your own story. So you need to undergo a change to make that happen, to get closer to your goal. So
I like that.
You've changed. That was the best story you've ever told. Well done.
Hey, improvement.
It was
one
the shortest
step
one
better.
too. That was
The good news is the whistle's blowing in the distance now, so you're good.
What you got for us, Sean?
Oh boy. Now we're getting down to where it was quantity over quality.
The cool thing about
I
that,
love this
though,
one that's
is
coming next because
you
I
can
think I
take-
know.
You can
You
take
don't
it a
know.
direction. I mean,
Is this something you put in your mouth?
Yo, really?
Yeah.
yes, this is a good one.
Yeah.
Great. Hey,
This is the only one he told us.
but I told him I told these boys they don't have to be anything crazy. I
did.
told them that it could be we're drinking more water.
Some
this
are more
year.
prepared than others, and I didn't
But-
prep.
In all fairness,
No.
I already had these in my phone. I just had
That's
to put them
fair.
on.
No,
All
but
right.
it's okay.
All
It can
right,
be short.
So
short and sweet.
it's something that is a daily habit that I have failed at for years, because I have failed at daily habits for years. It just says what it is. I now have a habit of every single morning I'm taking all of my vitamins.
He's
There you go.
climbing on
I gotta
it.
take my
There we
vitamins.
go.
Take your vitamins.
Mr.
It's
Grown-up
not the
over here.
Flintstones anymore, thank God. God, did you guys take those?
I did.
Oh yeah, 100.
The chewables?
Yes, so
love them.
disgusting.
Just
They're a
All right.
treat.
I was
Sweet
about
chalk.
to say so I didn't mind them.
I liked
didn't mind
them.
Yeah, I didn't mind them.
Yeah,
I was
mean,
like,
like them.
here we
So-
go.
I mean,
we're-
2, 3.
but I also like
Mom's
Dimetapp,
not
so-
looking.
For different reasons, or
Uh,
so anyway, so I have a AM PM pack of my multivitamin. So it's 4 in the morning, 4 in the evening, and then I take magnesium supplements, and then I also take my probiotics, and I take my vitamin D supplements.
D is so
and-
crucial.
Yeah, and so I
I don't
take
even remember.
I take all of those every day, and I have found, I think that's what's causing the brain fog to not be there anymore, because there are things, gut health and otherwise, that can lead to brain fog. And I had been out of the habit of doing it. And you guys all know I don't necessarily have the best regimented schedule of eating. It'll be 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm eating breakfast or whatever. I don't even drink water half the time, whatever. So I think when I was sick, which is one of the things that I was thankful for in 2022, was I got COVID, which led to me being really disciplined in that 14 days of taking all my vitamins
Yeah.
constantly, which then got me in the habit of every single morning now before I leave to head to the office, I take all my vitamins. Then when I get home at night, I take my 3rd magnesium pill and my 4 remaining multis. And I think that's what's helping with the clarity of mind. So anyway, that's
You'd be
something
surprised
for
what
me.
that magnesium does for you.
Oh.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
magnesium is fantastic. And I actually noticed we were filming something in the last week or two,
We filmed
and I
a lot of
noticed my blink. And if I blink heavy, I know that I need to start supplementing magnesium, because magnesium is the relaxer of the body and calcium is the non-relaxer. It's the, I guess,
Calcification.
Yeah,
It is-
calcification,
it's
whatever.
Solidification.
so if I start getting a heavy blink and I'm like blinking really tight, then I know I need to start supplementing my magnesium. So
While he was saying that, were y'all just like
Blinking.
really
Yeah,
doing your
Very
blinks? I was
cognizant
like,
of that.
Yes.
so if you are watching this, just go back and watch.
And
We're all
blink.
just kind of like, what's happening?
yeah, that's mine.
I love
Yeah,
it.
so I started taking Element Laboratories, it's called Element Salts, and I told you about them. And so it's sodium, magnesium, and potassium. And I've been taking them every day, just add it in the water. And it's crazy how different, just with those 3 things. I don't take daily vitamins or nothing, but just being on point with that. We don't get enough sodium most of us don't get enough sodium in our diet.
Well, most
Potassium
get
or
too
ma-
much sodium, but it's the wrong sodium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just taking that on a daily basis, you talk about that brain fog, and it's right at the beginning in the morning. It's insane how different I feel the days that I don't take that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I started taking like a vitamin B supplement, and
Love vitamin B.
I just
I
feel
can't do
so
vitamin
awake
B.
and so alive.
Yeah.
Why not?
I can't
He
do
doesn't
the jittery
Energy.
energy
Oh,
feels.
yeah.
And
And,
most multis
If I
have
eat
like
it without or if I take it without
Do you
eating.
get queasy?
It's nauseous, right?
I noticed that the last 2 days I was kind of a little sick feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to take a whole food vitamin because I'm really sensitive to all these other ones. And maybe I choose to be sensitive. I don't know. But I take this whole food vitamin, and the vitamin B is only like, I don't know, it's like 1,600% daily value or something. It's something low. But a lot of the multis out there, it'll be like 16,000% daily.
Yeah.
And it's so that they'll sell more vitamins.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I feel so good when I'm on. It's just a vitamin B injection essentially. But yeah, that's something. I think for me, it's been the probiotics. I'm taking, it's 75 billion in each, in the 2 capsules I take every morning. And it's just gut flora that's coming in and replacing
good.
all the bad
What
gut
brand
flora.
of vitamins are they?
So I use Dr. Mercola multis, and then I use Source Naturals. I use Dr. Mercola on the magnesium citrate. I think it might be glycinate. I don't remember. And then Source Naturals on the wellness formula. Source something else for the vitamin D drops. I do the D3, 2,000 milligrams or 2,000 IUs. Sorry. And if I start to feel like I'm getting sick, I'll take like 10 to 15,000 IUs per day. And if I'm just like regular maintenance, I'll take like 6,000 IUs of the D3 because we all work inside. We're not out in the sun. We're not collecting D's in D in any way.
That felt so good. I just had my dog outside today.
Oh, in the sun.
Just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I want to go out there. I haven't seen it.
So
Last year was my first. Last year was my first like actual winter because obviously growing up in Florida, there's no real winter. There's 2 seasons. You have summer and hurricane season, and so
The occasional falling iguana warning.
yeah. Well, supposedly now there's a chameleon freaking epidemic in South Florida. It's crazy.
Wow.
So yeah. So last year I had a really bad seasonal depression.
yeah.
This
Supplement dog vitamin D.
Yeah, this year has been
Okay,
not only am I exercising a lot more, I think that helps. I'm outside a lot more on the even just in the last month. And then I did those days that I do feel a little off. I take some D3 with K2 in it, and I'll take those for a couple days.
So on the different minerals that you need for rehydration, so magnesium, potassium, sodium. So 75 hard, having to drink
Primary
a gallon of water
electrolytes.
a day. So I
You
was like
flushing yourself.
flushing all.
Yeah.
So I flushed them all, and I was like, okay, I could take a supplement, or I wonder what it would look like to supplement like with just food. Like what foods would I need to eat? And it's a lot harder to do it that way.
Because the
I don't like to eat that much,
But
bro.
Yeah.
but I came up with a list. I pulled a list. A list. But magnesium, I looked at daily intake needed for magnesium, potassium, and sodium, and I came up with essentially the foods that I would need, and I built a diet around that to help support, or like, and so I wrote it down. I'm not going to go through it, but like primarily, you have your primary foods that you get those from, like spinach, nuts, black beans, avocado, banana. I said spinach already. Baked potato, baked sweet potato. I put in there. Broccoli. Peanut butter, salsa, and hot sauce is what I have. So incorporating those into my diet, which are all pretty basic. They're
I
whole
do
foods.
all of those in one day.
Yeah.
One meal.
Yeah, do it in one meal.
He showed us this.
Yeah,
salad.
so this is really pretty
literally
salad.
I literally do it in one meal.
That's a lot.
Well, not all of it, but close to it.
Everything but the hot sauce I could put in one meal, I think.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Hot sauce is kind of
I like hot sauce, but there's certain ones. I'm thinking more of the salad, honestly. Like in my head,
Yeah,
I
it
was
doesn't-
thinking about
yeah.
salad.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't work
Everything-
in the salad. Yeah.
Everything but the hot sauce I could put in the
Have you ever
salad.
had Crystal hot sauce?
Mm-hmm.
That is my jam.
We've started buying the Taco Bell hot sauce because
Oh no, not Crystal, the fast food place.
Oh, that's
Sorry.
what I thought.
No.
I did too. I was like, no.
No, it's literally
That's
a
it.
brand
White
called
and
Crystal.
blue bottle.
Yeah, white
or
and blue
a glass. Yeah, logo.
Oh,
logo.
snazzy.
Fire. It's so good.
Where
Who
were
are we at?
I think it has crack in it though, because you get addicted to it.
Yeah.
Good news is you can get free pipes now from the government. Anyway,
Yeah, you sure can. Free crack pipes.
I'm done. I had another comment. You said there was a chameleon virus, and I was like, yeah, that's what the media wants it to, whatever it needs it to be to fit the narrative.
Next new thing.
All right, I'm
The
done.
next
I'm done.
narrative. What am I? 19?
The last one, I think.
20. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're 20.
Be present more often.
Ah, you
I love it.
freaking took mine.
That's why
That's
I went
okay.
first, so I make sure that yeah, be more present. Be present more often. I kept so Ryan's been telling me a lot, like, oh, you come home and you're on your phone, and you talked about on the last episode, like eliminating the screens.
Eliminate your distractions.
Yep. So, and you said in there like, oh, Miller would say something, you'd be like, what? Could you say it again?
I heard nothing.
And I'm the same exact way. I can be face down on the phone, sending a text message or an email. And so all Ryan ever wants is she wants her dedicated time where it's just her, right? Where I'm present with her. And she's like, we could just be sitting on the couch watching TV. I don't care.
Is that our love language?
See, that
Yes.
doesn't count as time in my house.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, so with Ryan, it does like that. Her love language is like I'm the touchy person. Like I want her to touch, like give me a back massage and stuff like that. And she's a trained massage therapist. And
Hey,
won't do it.
My wife is too, and she won't do it.
No.
Oh my gosh.
I'll pay her.
I would pay big bucks.
So so that's mine. Hers is just like being there, kind of thing. Like she doesn't like to cuddle. I mean, she will, but like just be there with her and connect with her through like words,
like a
and-
joint
yeah.
experience.
Mm-hmm. So I want like I've gotten much better, but I haven't gotten good enough to where it's like enough. Because I'll even catch myself like I'll come home and like set my stuff down, say hi to her, and then the first like 10 minutes I lit the same thing every time. Elbows on the table, phone in the face in the phone, checking everything, making sure everything's done. I'm like, well, I just left the office, so everything's done that I could do for that day. Doesn't mean other things won't come up. Just knowing that, hey, she doesn't have like a set time, just give her that time, be more present. I also see that with my family. I'll go out with them and I'll find reasons to not like even be part of the conversation. And I'll be in the phone or whatever, doing something. Just because, again, my family's crazy, so they're listening. I love you guys. But still being able to be present with them. My grandparents are well into their 80s and on who knows how long. And so I've caught myself at times, same thing there, where my grandmother or grandfather will say something to me, and I'm like, what'd you say? Right? Not even listening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. And so I don't want to look back and be like, I regret that time. Or she was trying to have a conversation. Or he was trying to have a conversation with me.
Yeah.
You know,
it's hard too. I found that with the kids, like giving that uninterrupted time with them, because ultimately, I mean, there's this huge disconnect between your brain and a kid's brain, you know, so you have to bridge that gap and come to them in that moment. And sometimes when you have a million things going on in your head, it's hard to detach from that to enter their world. So you kind of have to find your own way of doing that. Cause that's hard, because it usually manifests if I can't, it's like, oh, you know, we'll do it here in a second, or I'll do it for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I'm like, all right, that was fun. Let's do it this way. Or like, cause it's more fun for me. And like, it's easy to default into that, but
Like, Daddy, play Barbie with me. And you're like, how about Barbie drives cars?
Yeah. So I mean, it's a skill, and you don't realize that, but it's a skill of being able to like detach from where you are to enter their space and their mental space and their world, and especially do that uninterrupted and without distraction. It's a skill you have to work on and learn.
You're up.
Am I? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll
We're
just
already
keep
on
on
you.
that
Keep
note.
on going.
Let failures fuel your passion. So passion being defined as anger and love. It's a combination of those two emotions. So don't let interruption discourage you from trying to acquire a new habit. Let it fuel you. Every time you get interrupted in your pursuit, it's an opportunity to pause, reflect, and execute it better. Every interruption is a milestone on the journey towards self-improvement. And that goes, for me personally, if I like had set a goal that I'm going to do this X amount of times, like 75 hard, if I failed, it was really easy for me, like, oh, okay, well, I obviously couldn't do it. I'm going to do something different. You know, it's easy to do that. But the thing is, or if like you're trying to quit cigarettes, if you're trying to quit smoking cigarettes, just because you have one cigarette doesn't mean that you failed. you're still better off than you were before you started. So keep going. Like, don't do like from here on out, no more. You know, if you mess up again, because I think we get so hard on ourselves when we have those interruptions in our pursuit towards accomplishing something that we allow it to derail us and completely forget the mission.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I adopted, and I'm in the process of telling my future brother-in-law, is to have the mentality. I got this from Jocko Willink, who, if you guys don't know who Jocko Willink is, he's ex-Navy SEAL, hardcore dude. And his whole mentality is if anything bad happens, your response automatically always 100% is good. Like, this bad thing happened. Good. It gives us an opportunity to do it better. This happens. Good. That means we can do this. Like, having the response of good towards something bad that's happening to you as an opportunity to grow and make it better is like one of the best mindset shifts that I've had as of, probably the last year and a half.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And also too, if I can, wasn't part of the list, but I thought for my family, I want to eliminate the phrase "I can't" and replace it with "How can I?" So I've realized that with my daughter, she's potty trained, but she doesn't. I don't know if she doesn't like it or she still do it, but she's like, I can't, like, I can't do it. And I'm like, we don't say those words. Yeah. Like, we don't say I can't. I like, it's how can I? Like, how do you do it? Like, or at least try. Like, it's not I can't. That's not. It can be like I failed. It can be like I didn't do it, but it can't be I can't. So that was just like a family goal for like us as a unit, is just to eliminate I can't from our vernacular.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we did a lot of that.
Yeah?
Yeah, starting when the kids were like real little. It was like you start training that mindset from a very young age. So they have a lot less work to do than we've had to put in to get where we are, you know?
And that's hard, because the easy way is like, oh, we can't do that because, you know, because you want to give it's an easy answer. Even as a parent, like, can we go do this? Like, oh, we can't. Like, okay, well, like.
No, because this.
Yeah.
All right, the last one.
You're such a romantic with story and everything.
Yeah.
I admire that about you. I am not.
Well, you both are dynamos.
We are, yeah.
Oh, really?
I did the test.
What else are you?
That's as far as I got. This was the initial test.
What Enneagram are you?
I didn't do so I don't like the Enneagram.
Okay, that's
it's
fair.
not
Yeah.
based
I
on
don't want to talk
science.
to you about that anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Mine is similar to Brett's. I want to spend more active time with my family. I've done a lot of like, hey, why don't you parents and everybody come over to the house for XYZ, and then like everybody shows up and I'm in a really crappy mood, or it's been a long day and I can't seem to shake it, or I'm busy working on something, I'm very disconnected, staring at screens or whatever else. And I've kind of recently been going through a little bit of like just nostalgia, I guess. Like sometimes like you'll look back on photos and you'll start flipping through memories from a time period that feels like yesterday, and then you realize it was 6-7 years ago, and you're like, what the heck, right? Especially with kids. And with kids, like you'll look back at like little tiny pictures of them and you go, wow. And then they walk in the room and you go, wow,
where did you come from?
Yeah, like what did I miss? I missed a lot.
You're a person.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's something that, this shift for me really started, and I've talked about this in previous episodes, of when Gianna turned 9, I had this like shifting point where I was like, oh my God, like 50% of childhood is behind her, and childhood defined as under 18.
Yeah.
Right. And I need to do more, be more present, be those things that I haven't been. And so that's one of my big things, is just how can I not live a life of regret? Because there are already things that, if I want to call back the red pill, blue pill conversation,
we regret now.
I would take the red pill solely so I could relive those years and do them differently. And so like now all I can fix is today, tomorrow, etc. I can't fix the 6 years that I missed.
Because you can't take the red or blue pill.
Yeah, because I can't do either one. But what I can do is be more present when I am home. And that's where the time management, the weekend travel, all of these things culminate around one simple thing for me. And it's the fact that I need to do a better job of being present, making memories with the people in my life.
For me, I found that it was when I started putting, I forgot where I learned this from. It may have been Derek, but literally on your schedule, when you're figuring out what you're doing for the next week or the next month or whatever it may be, being intentional about scheduling your family first and then work around it. And that was a huge shift, because I was 100% like, I have to get this work done. And for me, it was like for the betterment of my family. Yeah. I was doing it for my family and because of my family.
And then I miss all of it.
And you neglect them as a side effect of it. So putting them first, it's hard to do initially. And even, I don't want to like try to glorify it or polish it or anything, but it's still hard for me to knowing the benefit. I'm fighting a sense of purpose that comes from, I think I've talked about this before, but an identity that comes from work and the work that I do, as opposed to definitely not as strong as it used to be. But
yeah, that exists. And then just pure overwhelm exists.
Yeah.
And so then you're with them, but mentally you're not. There's just like, you're just not there. And it is a lot of work, but it goes, I saw a quote the other day on Instagram or something. It was like, work your 9 to 5 and then come home and work your 5 to 9 or whatever. And they were talking about, build a side hustle, get out of the rat race. But really it's, if you shift that perspective a little bit and say, hey, go to work and be there and then go home and be there.
Yeah.
That's the shift that needs to, for me personally, needs to take place.
It needs to go on your Instagram
And I just
stories.
love to hear from you guys, just because I'm not a parent yet, but I will hopefully one day be one. So it's just cool
You're
to
a
hear.
dog mom. It's probably more
I am
work
a
than
dog mom.
child.
My son. He's
A
just crazy.
lot more work than a child.
Yeah, well,
We both got puppies right now.
I'm not gonna claim either direction, because
when you have a real child, like a child,
that's
I'm
the
always
thing
going to
is-
argue this.
yeah.
Because that's the thing is, after a couple months, a dog kind of mostly self-sufficient. You just
Only
gotta make sure
easy
there's food
thing.
out.
Yeah, only the easy thing is I can leave the dog at home.
Yeah.
Brett, after 4 months of a child's life, you're still having to do everything
I know,
with them.
so-
Brett's like, yeah, they're still easier. Children, easier.
Some don't become self-sufficient until 25. So
At least.
Yeah, that's how Kyle and I were.
Oh yeah, I mean
We had our dark ages, bro.
Yeah. We call them the dark ages because I like to forget about them and I can't remember most of it.
Yeah. Well, I think that is all we have for today. If you, like I said, didn't listen to the first 11, go check them out. But those are our 22 rules for 2022. You don't have to take them with a grain of salt.
No,
There
there's a
are.
lot of good wisdom in there.
Yeah.
Don't take it with a grain of salt.
There is, but also
Change
some
your life.
people,
Quit complaining.
if they're not ready to learn and grow, then they're not ready to learn
That's
and
fair.
grow.
Yeah,
that's
But
fair.
we are growing in 2022.
Kyle's and I's was quality. Sean's
All
was
right.
quantity.
Oh, screw you.
Oh.
Check us out on our socials and everywhere you listen to podcasts. Bye, guys. Hey, guys, it's Swy. Thank you for joining us this week, and we really hope you got some useful information and we made your day a little bit better. If you're interested in joining the movement of realtors getting their time and life back, check us out at joinsimpliHOM.com on the browser, at simpliHOM on socials, or in the description. See you next week.